Super Bowl with a 37-20 victory that wasn't even that close. Jimmy Garoppolo only had to throw the ball 8 times as running back Raheem Mostert led San Francisco with 220 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. The Packers offense never got into a rhythm as the Niners defense forced Aaron Rodgers into 1 lost fumble and 2 picks, including a late one to Richard Sherman that secured the trip to Miami. So, Antonio, how impressive were the 49ers in your opinion?
Very impressive. I'll tell you that. And the reason I say that is because, well, you're playing against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and Aaron Rodgers, that made him look like a rookie. That's honest to God true. And they didn't even have to apply pressure by rushing 5 or 6. They did this with the front 4. Got hits on them. I think they turned the ball over 5 times, but only I think San Fran recovered 4 of the turnovers. So when you able to do that, and you can go out there and put pressure on a guy to make him make mistakes, can't get on his spot, it's hard. I mean, you got to think too. Who was he throwing to? They can't get open. It was nobody getting open. No matter what you did with Devontae Adams, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
He got going in the second half.
Yeah, but it's too late. Yep. You were already down. It was 17-0 in the first quarter.
27-0 at the half.
You can't do nothing. It's a wash. You don't have the weapons that Patrick Mahomes has to try to get back into to this game. It's not going to happen. And that Mike Pettin defense, that was supposed to be a great run defense, gave up 160 yards on, 14 carries, 3 touchdowns in the first half?
In the first half.
Finished with 220 and 4 touchdowns? They didn't want to hit nobody yesterday. That's what you saw. They weren't getting off blocks. They wasn't shedding blocks. They weren't doing none of that yesterday. Not what you've seen in the previous weeks of what Green Bay Packers defense was doing. It just went out there and laid an egg.
Okay, so in the previous topic that we did, you made a strong case that Kansas City is going to have a big edge in the Super Bowl, but yet you just said 49ers can get there with 4. So what if Mahomes starts getting some heat that he hasn't gotten of late?
Okay, but you got to think about this. If Mahomes can move too, just like Aaron Rodgers can, but his weapons are better than Aaron Rodgers. Those guys can separate. You saw once he stepped in the pocket, he can find Kels going across the middle. He can find Tyreek Hill going across. He has the weapons, better weapons than Aaron Rodgers has, and more speed than anybody in the NFL on them outside receivers. So if you make one mistake, as you saw with the Sammy Watkins touchdown, if you make one mistake, he's able to step up in the pocket, it's touchdown. You can't come back from that.
Yeah. They were very impressive, and this is what Kyle Shanahan wanted to do. They wanted to run the football, Skip.
Yeah.
You try to minimize the Jimmy Garoppolo putting the ball in harm's way. Skip, he gave an opportunity, but they didn't come down with it. Now, he normally puts the ball, and Kyle knows this also. He normally puts the ball in harm's way 2 to 3 times. Well, I ain't going to let you do it because there ain't no way you're going to put the ball in harm's way. He did it 1 time in 8 attempts, and they didn't come down with it. It's their fault. But when you can run the football like this, it's disheartening. Your defense starts to lose hope. Because no matter what they bring 8 guys, they bring 9 guys, and we still can't stop this guy from getting a first down every time he touches the football. This is the NFL. A guy should not average 10 yards a rush in the NFL. Now, if it's Alabama playing some FCS school or a Power 5 playing a lower level school, Skip, I get that. Because the talent level is just, the disparity is just so great. But this shouldn't happen at this level. And it happened. They ran the football for almost 300 yards. To move, the greatest thing you can do in the NFL, Crow, and you know this, is to move a man against his will. That joker lied and put his hand in the dirt. He's like, I'm going that way. And they said, no, you're not. You're going that way. And they roll your butt up out of there. Come on, get off the block, son. Yeah. You see the DBs, come, they clapping. Preston Smith called him on the sideline. I ain't got nothing. Got nothing for you today, Skip. 300 yards with 8 pass attempts.
But you know what else surprised me, though? I think when the way Kyle Shanahan is using Deebo Samuels, like, he reminds me a lot of what Minnesota used to do with Percy Harvin.
Interesting.
You know, when you look at that, it's like,
I mean,
he's
twice Percy Harvin. Seriously.
Yeah, but
Deebo's a bad man.
He's a bad boy. I tell you that.
He run hard. He run.
Hey, Deebo coming.
Well, how did he get his nickname?
and you see him.
Yes.
When he ain't dodging nobody. He ain't trying to run out of bounds.
No.
He's dropping his shoulder and like running over people.
That's some fury he's running with now. To me, the 49ers were even more impressive than Kansas City was. because they just dismantled everything about Green Bay. They dismantled the defense. They dismantled the quarterback. It was just destruction from jump, where their offensive line was blowing Green Bay off the ball. I'm looking at lanes that are like semi-truck lanes.
Most of them
right?
might get in touch on a 30-yard TD run. That's unheard of.
What? And that was a third
couple
down
times.
run.
Yes.
Well, what are you doing? And Mostert's half the size of Derrick Henry. He's 5'11", 180 pounds.
Right.
Former sprinter in college at Purdue, who didn't even play running back until his junior year. Bounced around the NFL because he was a gadget back and a return man who played mostly special teams.
Right.
He led this team in special teams tackles, and he led it in rushing. And he's a good kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's 27, but he bounced for 6 different teams, cut him, and he just fell into Kyle Shanahan heaven.
Right.
Because this is what, you know this better than anybody, this is what the Shanahans do. It's just zone block, outside zone, where you get him loose off the edge. And when he gets loose, what did you do with Terrell Davis, who was a bigger man than this? But he took games over. He took playoff games over. And the truth was, Mike took the great John Elway out of a lot of game plans where he wasn't throwing a lot of balls.
Well, when you go on the road skipping the playoff football, it's about minimizing the mistakes, taking the crowd noise out of it. And if you can run the football, and what we could, and Derrick Henry was trying to do what TD done. 3 straight games of at least 150 yards. So that lets you know how we ran the football, that TD is the only guy in NFL history.
What did Terrell Davis weigh? 225?
No. Maybe
okay.
205, 210.
Okay, so he's that right. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe 25 more pounds. I couldn't believe that Mostert stood up to 29 carries. That's a lot of punishment, you'd think, except he wasn't taking a lot of punishment.
He wasn't taking no punishment.
Well, the first 17 carries was no punishment. He might have took some the last 12 when they know he was going to get the ball, Skip, because if you think about it, they came out the first time they got the ball, because Green Bay got the ball to start the second half, they go down and score. The 49ers get the ball, and they go right back down the field and score, and they run the ball every single time.
Boom. That was it. Game over.
Yes. You know they ain't putting nobody in no shotgun. They ain't dropping back the pass. They just hand it off or they pitch it to Debo. And Green Bay's like, so now you can't get pressure on the quarterback. So even when Jimmy G did drop back the pass, you can't get any pressure, Skip, because they so used to catching the guys. A tight end is in your chest, or offensive lineman is in your chest. You can't pass block when you're 2 yards back.
So what if I told you Friday, speaking of Debo, what if I told you Friday that Emmanuel Sanders would get 1 target and catch no balls, and Kittle would get 1 target and catch 1 ball in this game? What would you have told me? They're in trouble?
Yeah.
No, I would have known they were in trouble because I told you Kyle Shanahan was going to run the ball 40 times. Skip, Green Bay got no players that were better from the last time they played. 49ers didn't get worse. So I'm trying to figure out a scenario, Skip, that the game was going to be different. I didn't see a situation where the game was going to be different because Green Bay didn't add anybody and the 49ers didn't lose anybody.
Yep. Well, usually they throw a 3-headed monster at you and they keep them fresh. So it's Tevin Coleman and it's Breida and then it's Mostert.
So just imagine.
And again, Tevin Coleman banged up his shoulder and it looked not good.
Yeah,
looked like he might be gone.
Yeah.
Might be. I'm knocking on wood for him.
But Skip, that's the knock on him is that he's a thin guy,
I know.
but he's injury prone.
Okay. So again, I thought it's going to be Breida and Raheem back and forth, and Kyle said, "I'm going with the hot hand."
Yeah.
And he gave it to him 29 times.
I mean, think about it. This has been a lot of playoff games, and the dude got the second most rush yards in playoff history behind ED 248.
Unbelievable. I like the story you shared, how he keeps a list of every team that's cut him.
He's got the cut dates. Every cut date that he got cut.
He's an unconventional back. So, in other words, he's not a power back. You look for guys a little bit more sturdier. So, with him, you put him in the zone running scheme where you don't need power. You just need to be able to, put your foot in the dirt and come down here.
Hit the crease.
That's it.
Whew.
That's it.
That's all it's designed.
This is going to be a matchup, man.
It is.
It's going to be a good one.
Because remember, 49ers are extremely physical. I don't think Kansas City is a physical football team. They're more finesse. They'll throw it and beat you with their track.
You better reroute those receivers.
Yep.
You let those receivers come off the line scot-free.
Yep.
And you're in trouble. Because he can throw it. He can throw it 60 yards. He can throw the ball over your head, and Tyreek can run catch it.
What was the road runner? Beep, beep.
Yep.
and you got Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
But Skip, if you remember, go back to Kansas City. They started with some bull jive too. You're not an RPO team. All that little stuff they were trying to do with Mahomes, and everybody said, okay, My bad. Let me go back. Mahomes, drop back and throw the ball.
That's it.
Strength for
Especially when they're
strength.
rushing 3.
Yeah, exactly. We do need a little bit
I won't
more
let that
from
go.
you.
You know.
We're going to have Antonio stick around a bit
Yeah.
more because there was some drama last night on Twitter.
was
We do
there?
have to talk about the Richard Sherman, Darrelle Revis Twitter
go.
spat. It got a little ugly. We'll tell you about it next.